If I circle every other Friday, you know what that means. It's payday. We all live for that, especially when you see the bills due in between. Yeah, that Thursday right there, that's going to be brutal. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're not alone.
Allow them and call them up to see if you can lower those interest rates, lower those contracts, and just see how you can save yourself some money. That will go a long way into helping you not live paycheck to paycheck.
That easy, huh? So getting a break on bills is one thing, but did you hear what the experts said about why most of us are living paycheck to paycheck?
Too many people are in debt. Too many people are in debt. Too many people are in debt. Too many people are in debt.
Tell us something we don't know, right? Too many people are in debt. The average American household has $5,700 in credit card debt. That number jumps to $16,000 for households that don't pay their balances off every month. So how do you get out from under this? It's not pretty, but here goes. A certified financial coach with 7 Pillars LLC says the first step, stop using your credit cards to get your bills and debt under control. Next, get organized. Write down your debts and then write down how much you have available each month to tackle that debt. Fun, but seriously, writing it down really does help. What you want to do is write your total and subtract $50 every month all the way till you get to the end in sight, 0. This will help hold you accountable, and again, it's all about seeing the end in sight. And once you get your credit card paid off, avoid debt relapse. Experts say have one card and make sure it has a small limit. Right now, Texas is in Hurricane Harvey's path. As the Gulf Coast braces for Harvey, the Triad is getting ready for higher gas prices. 2 months over the last time a hurricane had a big impact on oil production and how much more we really had to pay. Next. You're looking at a live picture from Galveston, Texas, as Hurricane Harvey threatens part of the state. Late this afternoon, Harvey strengthened to a Category 3. It's expected to hit the Gulf Coast early Saturday morning with winds stronger than 150 miles per hour. And even though it's thousands of miles away, it will have an impact on the Triad. Oil refineries along the coast are closing as the storm gets closer, which means higher gas prices for us. Gas Buddy says gas likely to go up 5 to 10 cents, but if the flooding sticks around after the storm, prices could continue to rise. Now, 2 Wants to Know found Hurricane Katrina was the last storm to seriously impact the country's gas supply. The government says oil production in the Gulf of Mexico was reduced by 1.3 million barrels per day. Sounds like a lot, and it was. That was about 91% of the daily production. The New York Times reported that gas averaged $2.60 before and jumped to more than $3.10 because of Hurricane Katrina. That is a 40-cent difference. So, 2 Wants to Know how high gas prices impact you. How high do they have to get before you're going to change your route? $3, $4, or $5 or more? You can tell us at WFMY.com/vote now or on the WFMY News 2 app. While you vote, Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley is going to break down hurricanes by the numbers. It's been a long time since we had one this strong and this big.
Yeah, Ben, you know, a lot of people throwing out stats here, so we want to clarify.
2 Wants to Know likes to prepare you, not scare you. Whether it's a hurricane, a winter storm, or just that freak power outage, being prepared is smart. But it also seems overwhelming, right? You have to buy everything right when the storm's coming at you. How about you start with a few basics right now? This weekend when you grocery shop, pick up a case of bottled water and find your flashlight in the garage. Buy some new batteries for it too. We've got a lengthy list where you can start picking from little by little. The American Red Cross has laid it out for you. 2 Wants to Know, put the link on our website. Just check out our section of WFMYnews2.com. Now let's get back to our question about gas prices. We asked you, how high do gas prices have to go before you change your route? $3, $4, or $5? Looks like most people just $3. I mean, hey, a dollar is a dollar nowadays. You can keep voting at WFMY.com/vote now or WFMY News 2's app. We will update the results again during the 6 o'clock newscast. On average, 37 kids die in hot cars every year. According to kidsincars.com, only 19 states have laws that make it illegal to leave a child alone in a hot car. Seems like common sense. North Carolina is not one of them. Ahead on 2 Wants to Know, another automaker rolling out technology to remind parents their little ones are in the back seat. Plus, is it safe to heat up food from those styrofoam containers? We answer a viewer question next. What's the first thing that pops up in your mind when you see one of these? The food, of course. Fried chicken, fajitas. Probably not the container itself. But a 210 viewer called asking if these foam containers are dangerous. Jason wanted to know, when you put hot food in here, do chemicals leach out into it? The expert we use to verify if foam containers leak out dangerous chemicals is Mike Shade from Safer Chemicals Healthy Families, and a slew of government research, including findings from the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences. The chemical in question is called styrene. Government research shows styrene is reasonably anticipated to be a carcinogenic, with increased risk for leukemia and lymphoma, and genetic damage in white blood cells. But in food containers, levels of styrene are very low. Still, the group Safer Chemicals Healthy Families says there's a hole in the research, and we don't know if those very low levels build up over time. Plus,
also don't know what the health risks may be for certain vulnerable populations, such as pregnant women.
So to verify, foam containers do leach out chemicals when they come in contact with hot foods. But there are no immediate health risks. What's questionable are the longer-term impacts. Those are still unclear. However, one thing we know for sure. Experts say the bigger concern with using foam containers is that you're putting the factory workers who make them at risk, since they deal with the chemicals in much higher levels.
Using polystyrene-based products, we're in effect contributing to those problems that they face. So we think that consumers can play an important role in driving these hazardous materials out of commerce.
And if you're really concerned about styrene, stop smoking. Tobacco users take in much more of the chemical than you could ever get from the food containers. Man, how cars have changed. Cup holders, they didn't exist until 1983, and it took a decade before they were in most vehicles. Airbags, 1998. Now automakers are working on a new feature to help remind you if your kid is in the back seat. You see, the group Kids in Cars says so far this year, 36 children have died after being left in a hot car. Here's how the new auto technology works.
Elsa.
We are finally getting a break from the heat and humidity here in the Triad. Tim, feels a little bad celebrating this good weather when we're watching what happens in Texas.
Yeah, you know, you're so true, or so right about that, Ben. That's exactly what it feels like. But oftentimes,
you do not want to miss this. Remember that Mary Poppins bag that could fit everything? We're talking, snacks for the kids, the flashlight, always good to be prepared, and of course, the umbrella, that huge thing. You ever wish your bag could fit all of this? Well, Matt Granite found a deal. Here's a look. Bed bugs have been found in all 50 states, but in some states, they have more than others. 210 looks at the cities with the most bed bugs and what you need to do if you're traveling to avoid bringing them home. Here's one list you'll be happy the Triad is not on. The cities with the most bed bugs. Cleveland, Cincinnati, Detroit, Vegas, and Denver all round out the top 5. That sounds about right. Terminex created its list based on the highest number of actual bedbug service calls from January 1st until June 30th. Now, while we don't live in any of those cities, they are tourist destinations. And when you're traveling, you want to check your hotel room for bed bugs. Here's how you do it. First, do not unpack. Put your luggage in the bathtub or somewhere off the floor until you check the room. Start at the sheets on the bed. You want to look in the corners where they tend to hide. Also, look for dark brown blood spots or oval bugs. They also like to hide behind furniture. This is the best tip I've ever heard about this. Take a key card and you want to run it along the wall behind the picture frame or the headboard. They'll just fall out if they're there. Now, when you're staying at a hotel, you also want to pack a plastic bag for your dirty clothes. The University of Minnesota says bed bugs are attracted to chemicals we leave on our clothes. WFMY News 2 at 6 starts right now.